Morning, everyone. I thought I'd just record this video just to have a chat with you all, just with regards to the assessments for CSB340. Firstly, to give you an update on the written assessment. I know it's taking quite a long time to mark. We're getting through it. The vast majority of them have been marked. The issue has been that we've run into some problems with the university-wide ban on employing new sessionals. So I had one or two sessionals that all they ever do is just mark assignments for this unit. And of course, Monica, who talked to you from QAS, is one of those markers. And unfortunately, because of this university-wide sort of ban on new contracts, that particular contract has been held up. So it's held up my marking. They've assured me it's going to be fine. However, we just have to jump through some hoops. So in fact, that she can actually start to do that marking. So hopefully that'll be done this week. And then all the marking should be finished next week. So I do apologise. It's taking much longer than it normally does to mark the written assignments. But we're endeavouring to get them back to you as quickly as possible. I've had a look through many, and I've marked quite a number, and there've been some fantastic, really fantastic assignments in there. A lot of you have done some really good work in terms of talking about your disaster and applying those contemporary disaster management principles. So really well done to a lot of you. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to talk to you about today is because I know a lot of you missed the online discussion about the upcoming exam that we're going to hold on Blackboard. So I just wanted to talk through and maybe hopefully clarify a few points about what you need to do on the day. So I've had some emails from students with some concerns and some queries about the exam. I think people are assuming that it'll be exactly the same as what you've been doing in 347. It'll be very similar, but there's some different rules around the way that it's going to be managed, and in particular about whether you can backtrack and how the answers or how the questions are going to be presented to you. So I just thought I'd try to clarify a few things around that. And if you have any more specific questions after this, I'm very happy to answer. It's probably the best or the easiest for you just to email me if you do have questions. I try to get back to emails fairly quickly where I can. So firstly, just with regards to the date of the exam, well, you know it's going to be Saturday the 13th. That's the date that was set by Central Examinations. The time frame for the exam is 1:30 on that day, so it will become available to you at 1:30, but I've made it so you can do it up to 10 o'clock at night. Please don't procrastinate all day and then 20 or 30 or 50 of you all decide at 5 to 10 that that's when you're going to do your assignment. It'll be much better and much easier if you kind of try to spread yourselves out throughout the day. If you possibly can. Similarly with the 1:30, you know what Blackboard's like. It always has issues. We've been told that we must use Blackboard, so obviously that's what we've done. But it doesn't tend to like it when large multiples of students all try to log into the same page at the same time. It just loses its mind. And that's when we tend to have the greatest IT issues. So feel free, it is up to you. I've left it up to you to do it any time between those hours of 1:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Feel free to do it at any time. I want it to be flexible because I know many of you have to work and whatever, but try not to leave it to the last minute. Like, I mean, we say this with the submitting your assessments or your written exams, and there's still a percentage of people that still seem to do it. Leave it to that very last second because they just can't commit to pressing the button. But anyway, if you could do that, that'd be much appreciated. With regards to that though, the exam is timed. So it's auto timed. So once you click start, and you see that first question, the timer will start and then will automatically finish after 100 minutes. Okay, so that's all you've got. You've got that hour and a half, and that's the end of you, really. So that's what I've set it to. Once you click start, you must do it in a single sitting. You can log out. It is an open book exam. You can check you can do whatever you want. You can go to the toilet. You can do whatever you want, but that timer will continue to run, and it will auto submit after the 100 minutes. Okay, so that's an important consideration for you. Similarly, if you do have an IT issue, if you've started the exam and for whatever reason your computer craps itself or Blackboard goes off, try to log back in. Keep an eye out for the time, but try to log back in, because it will let you log out and log back in within that window. Okay, so yes, you might have lost a couple of seconds, 20 seconds or whatever, but it will let you log back in and then carry on from where you left off. If that period, if you get held up and it's quite significant, then you just need to have to let me know, and we'll talk about what concessions can be made around that, and we'll work it out. I guess that's the other thing I did really want to stress with you guys. They've asked us to be the point of contact, to be the main point of contact for all things to do with the online exam. So for this exam, I will be your main point of contact. Don't panic if you can't get a hold of me. Obviously, if Blackboard goes out, you need to keep an eye out for stuff from IT. They'll tell you if that happens, and then we'll work around it. But if anything else happens for whatever reason, I'll be your main point of contact. I'm very happy for you to give my desk number a call, and then I will receive an email with your voice message, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. While I've left it open till 10 o'clock at night, though, you won't get me at 10 o'clock at night, I'm afraid. But you can still leave your voice message, or you can send me an email, and we'll work it out the next day or on the Monday. We'll work it out. It's the first time QT's gone to these types of exams, and we'll be flexible, we'll be fair, we'll try to work things out. Okay. Don't lose your mind trying to call everybody because you can't get back on the exam or whatever. I'm your point of contact. I hope that's clear. Okay. Now, with the exam itself, it'll consist of 20 multiple choice questions and 10 short answer questions. Okay. So the way that the actual exam is structured is that it randomizes itself. So if you're sitting next to another student, their question one won't be the same as your question one. Blackboard there's a pool of questions, and it just will, for each exam, it will be different. So you may get sent 2 multiple choice questions and then get a short answer question. Or you might get a run of short answer questions in a row, and then you'll get a multi-choice question. It's completely randomized. I have no control over that, the way that exam is presented. However, what we do have control of, and what you will know, is the numbers of the questions that you're going to get. So once you can tick them off, or you can keep a timer next to you and work it out. But once you've answered 20 multiple choice questions, all the rest of the questions will be short answer. And similarly, once you've answered 10 short answer questions, all the rest of your questions will be just what's left, okay, which will be the multi-choice. So I think you need some sort of strategy around how you're going to look and answer questions. Because it's timed and it will just automatically submit at the end of the time. There is a potential, if you spend too much time on the short answer questions, that you're going to run out of time to answer any other questions. So you need a bit of a strategy and how long you're going to take on each question. Similarly, with regards to the way the questions are presented, you only get one question at a time. So you're not going to be able to scan the paper, read forward and see whether there's easy questions, hard questions. You just get one at a time and you get a set amount of time to answer. I mean, you can take up your whole or half of your time answering one question. That's up to you, but it will auto submit at the end. It's open book, so I mean, I can't control what you look at if you're not sure of a question, but you can't spend too long researching questions, trying to find answers to come up with the perfect answer. Hopefully you know the perfect answer. I mean, I'm sure you will, but you have to have a strategy and be really mindful of the time that's being taken to answer each question. I mean, you'll shoot through the multi-choice questions, you'll answer really quickly. Okay, so that will give you extra time with your short answer questions. But you'll, like I said, need your own strategy around how you're going to answer those questions. Okay, you're not permitted to copy and paste answers into the exam. Please don't do that. Yes, you can. It's open book, like I said. You can look at a reference and get your mind around something or refresh your memory about something, but you must answer it or in your own words. Okay, that's important that you do that. The test can be only taken once. So once you start the exam, the timer goes, you can't stop it and then do it again. Okay, important because we have this forced completion. And I did mention, I hope I mentioned about the backtracking, because people were asking, I've had a couple of emails about the backtracking, and that's correct. You can't answer a question. Once you answer and go to the next question, it's submitted, you can't go back and change it. So you do have to be clear about what you're answering. Once you go, just forget about it because you already answered it and you can't change it. Okay, so don't stress about that. Or try not to stress about that or get anxious about it, but that's just the way this test will run. Now, I have set up the end of semester exam section here on Blackboard under assessment tasks. When you go into that, at the moment, all you see, I'll go into it now, all you'll see is this verification. And that's just a bit of information about how we're going to check and mark the exam. And if we've got questions, for instance, about copy and paste or whatever, then it may need some verification. Okay, so we may follow up, and that could take the form of an online Viva, where we'll contact you one-on-one and just ask you some questions, just to verify that you do actually, in fact, have that information and knowledge. Anyway, so you'll see that on there. Now, on the day of the exam, after 10 o'clock, another section will appear, and I'll show you now. I'll go into edit mode because this is my view. First of all, this academic integrity little exam will turn up. You still won't be able to see the theory exam down here, as you can see it on my screen. So the first thing that will show up on the day will be this one. And what you need to do is actually go into that and do that, answer that as a series of questions first. And it's just simply 3 questions with yes or no answers. And in order to proceed and do your actual CSB340 exam, you need to acknowledge yes to all of these questions. I mean, you can say no, but if you say no, then you won't be allowed to do the exam. It's just as well as that. So we're kind of forcing you to acknowledge that you understand these things and that you agree to them. Okay, so that's what they've asked us to do. So it's a simple matter. Like I said, if you just go yes, 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 submit it, save and submit, it'll automatically record that that's what you've done, that you've said yes to all those the questions are in there, and then that will allow your actual exam sorry. That will allow your actual exam then to, what are we doing here? 1 second. That'll allow your actual exam to appear on your Blackboard page. So where are we? Agency management. Go into here. And then this CSB340 theory exam will come up. That'll open up in another page. It'll give you that information that I sent to you about how much it's worth, what the questions are worth, etc. And just those things that I said before. Once you click begin, that's when your timer will start. Okay, and you will see a timer. It'll tell you when you're halfway through the test. It'll tell you when you're coming towards the end of the test. So you'll, hopefully have enough time to complete it the way you need to. All right. So that's pretty much it with regards to the physical demands around answering the exam. And like I said, I'm your point of contact, so please contact me with worries, queries, anything to do with the actual test itself. If it craps itself, if Blackboard craps itself, once again, I'll be the point of contact. I'll be in contact with you either the next day or on the Monday, and we'll sort it out. So don't lose your mind. You're not going to fail or lose 60% of your exam because of IT issues. We'll work it out. All right. I just want, because I know how much anxiety exam causes in people, and like we don't really want to promote that. I'll be flexible and we'll sort it out. Okay, so with regards to the actual questions, I pretty much said the topics there. They were mostly covered in the lecture and shoots. With the sit and sort, there might be a question regarding a case. So you might be given a case with some vital signs, and we'll ask you to either sit or sort that patient. It could be working out, their triage revised trauma score, those sorts of things. You all know about the PPRR, what that is, how that works. It was your assignment anyway, so you should have all covered that. I would like you to know the roles at an MCI from the QAS perspective. So, what a triage officer does, what the first officer on scene does, what your responsibilities are as the first officer on scene, maybe something about the commander, there's a transport officer, there's a marshalling officer. I want you to kind of understand those roles and what they're about. Command and control, how does that operate? We won't be going too much in depth, but I would like you to have an idea about what command and control is and what that means. We did do a bit of talk about blast injury and BLEVI, what a BLEVI is, what it stands for. Of course, hazmat and CVR management. We talked about contamination, decontamination, the different kinds of chemical and biological and radiological weapons that are about. So get your head around that sort of stuff and what was talked about in the lectures. Mass casualty management, that really goes back to more around the command and control and your sit and sort and those sorts of things. What else? Urban search and rescue. I'd like you to understand about collapse patterns and those sorts of things. How you might approach in a collapsed building, how you keep yourself safe around a structural collapse, and a little bit about the structural markings. You might get something in there about that. And then pandemics, of course, Dave talked to you about pandemics, which of course we're all experts on now, considering we're in the middle of one. But it could be around either flu, it could be around coronavirus, or anything really to do with pandemics and what Dave talked to you about in his lecture. And then the other thing I'd really like you to do in preparing for the exam is actually go, I think you were all sent an email last night around around the exams and some advice about online exams. But it'd be a really good idea just to go around this advice, to this central exam period advice and support page, and just have a read through. It's got some good information about what to do if your computer craps itself, your internet craps itself, or if in fact you want to actually go to university and complete your exam there. So you can actually go to uni. I think you do need to register. Keep an eye out on this page, and that will give you the information that you need if you don't have a reliable connection at home, or a decent computer or somewhere to sit. Clearly, it'd be better if you had a quiet area. You didn't have kids or other family members making a racket in the background, because you need to concentrate on your exam. And then there's some good questions about, some good answers about what you should be doing during your exam, a whole bunch of frequently asked questions. Okay, I'd really like you to go through these things. And like I said to you, I will be your main point of contact. Okay, are the exams open book? Well, they are treated as open book, but you must adhere to this academic integrity policy and the code of conduct. So open book doesn't mean that you get 5 of you sitting in the room together and then one of you does the exam and you all work on the answers. That's not kosher, and you'd be in trouble if you get found out. Okay, so those sorts of things. Have a look through, and I think you'll all do okay. Please don't panic too much. We'll try not to panic too much about this exam. Yes, it's different to the normal paper-based exams that we do, but I think you'll all be fine, and you'll do really well. Okay. Now, like I said, if you have any further questions about the exam or anything else, I'm quite happy for you to send me an email, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, I haven't kept an eye on the time myself. Hopefully, that didn't go for too long, and we'll get those written assignment results back to you as quickly as possible. And best of luck to you all with your central exams. Okay. I'll see you all later. Thanks. Bye.